Progress sometimes stalls. Could nutrition be the missing link? Please, as our usual, go and invite your friends, your loved ones, your neighbors, your siblings, your village people. Please tell them we are live. Tell them we are live. Thank you for joining. Yesterday we promised to share the part 2 today because it was too bulky. It's not something we could finish in one sitting. Thank you. Why therapy progress sometimes stalls. Could nutrition be the missing link? Yesterday we talked about how children get frustrated even during therapy. We talked about how nutrition is needed because have you ever felt frustrated because your child has been doing therapy for years, your child has been doing therapy for several months, and yet progress seems very slow, slower than expected? Slower than expected. You are showing up, your child therapist is showing up, your child is even trying, yet you are not seeing the result you wanted, yet something feels stuck. Something seems not just right, it's not adding up. Nutrition could be the missing link. We shared yesterday that therapy may not be the problem. I'm not trying to say that the way the therapy is done could also be an issue. But in most cases, therapy might not be the problem. Nutrition could. Because you are doing everything, but your child's brain and body, the resources they need is based on nutrition, how you are feeding the child's brain. Because these therapies, they need so much nutrition to function. Because they need energy, brain energy, emotional energy, physical energy, and that is nutrition dependent. So we shared about different aspects. We need to, if we talk about that today, we might take more time. So we talk about how nutrition is a missing puzzle. For those that were not here, I'm just trying to do a recap. We talked about how nutrition might not be the entire magic cure, but it deserves the most important attention because a lot of persons are not paying attention to nutrition when they are doing therapy for their child. Because I started also, most times we're just told when the child is diagnosed of any learning difficulties or any learning issues, you are told, please get a therapist. Who is the child's therapist? I know of one. You are even shown someone, or they recommend someone for you to help that child, and you just move it to action. That was what I also did, which wasn't the best. You just feel is doing 10 hours therapy, 20 hours therapy every week. You are doing all that, but it's still not adding up. You still feel that the child is stuck. You still feel that something is missing somewhere. It could just be that nutrition has not been given its place, because these things cannot work except the foundation is handled. Just like the Bible says that if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The righteous will have to break the foundation and start again. That was what I did. When I realized that I was doing therapy and I was not seeing the progress I needed, I was not seeing the result I needed, I had to go to the root. I sat with myself to check what the problem really was. I tried to check what could be missing. What is it that I was not doing right? Like I shared, I've always been cautious of nutrition from inception, even before I gave birth to the child. There are so many things, because of exposure, because of family patterns and all that, I was already in the line. But I wasn't fully committed as I am today. I have always been an intentional parent. I've always been an intentional person. I've always been deliberate about things. Like I said, my children, all of them, not just the child that had issues, all of them have been on fruits and vegetables as their lunch every day for 8 good years. You can track it. The records are there. They've always taken this to school on a daily basis. We don't miss any day. That's their lunch, their snack, because they have lunchtime, they have snack time, and they're taking their lunch, which is whole foods. I have never given noodles as lunch for my children. Maka, why? If you are still doing that, please, the dustbin is not far from you. Go and put it inside, or feed it to the dogs or any pets you have there. Please, it's not good for these children with developmental issues. We will not go into that because we've talked about that extensively last week. I have done this, like I said, quite well to my best of understanding. But when I realized that it is more than this, I had to revisit everything and took out some things that were not right and brought in some things. I took out all the additives. They were still the dangers, you know, like we said yesterday, that 2 days ago when we were talking about hidden sugars, that sugars are not very clever. I still found out where sugar was still hiding, so many additives, coloring, preservatives, chemicals. I took that, all the tin canned food, I took them out and I went for purely organic. I went for purely natural food. I took out all the highly processed meats that I was putting as, you know, side. I've always prepared my children's meals myself. But then I had to take out all those side foods that you feel they are quick, they are fast, but they are slowing the brain. For the fact that they are fast doesn't mean that they are fast. They actually do. There's a food, like I said, there's a food you can give to your child. It can store that child for another 1 month. There is a food you can give to a child. It can make the child have regression. There's some food that put children into regression. There's some food you just gave that child today. It might not leave the body until another 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The effects of that food will still be showing. So when we are doing this, we need to be very intentional. We need to be very practical, and we need to be very conscious of what we are feeding these children. Even as we are doing therapy, which is very crucial because it's a double-edged sword, like I said. As you are doing therapy, you are making sure that the child is having constant practice. You are doing your best as a parent. You are trusting in God, which is the foundation, which is the number one, all in all. You need to pay attention to what you are putting in that child's plate. That is when progress can come quick. That is when progress can be meaningful. That is when progress can be tangible. You can see that transformation that you seek. If you just do therapy and you focus on therapy alone, you are not paying attention, because I've actually seen parents, when you're telling them, they are surprised. Oh, do you know I'm supposed to take out this food? Do you know I'm supposed to bring in this food? Is it that easy? It is not easy. It's not a parenting strategy. It is not easy. It's not a plan to help a child with developmental delays thrive. It is not easy. It's not a way out. We are not called to do something that is easy. Because, like I said last time, a word from my father in the Lord, Bishop David Oyedepo, he will always say, you will pay now and play later. Parenting is hard. Having a child with developmental issues, not independent, is also hard. So choose your hard. Parenting a child with developmental issues, having these strategies and having these transformational tools, it is not easy. If I am telling you that it is easy, I would be lying to you. It is not easy. But also having a child that will need your assistance for the rest of his or her life is not easy either. So choose your heart. You need to sit down and think about it. Just choose your heart. Choose what will work best. Me, I have decided that I would rather do the work now. Though, as humans, you will have times that you'll be tired. You have time that you will need break. You have time that it will be as if you are not just all that today. Break is required because you cannot pour from an empty cup. That is why you need to also take care of yourself. Your mental health, learn to practice self-care. Even as you are taking care of another person, you need to take, because you that is taking care of another person, you need to be sane. You need to be well. also. So we are not saying that therapy is bad, but nutrition could be the missing link. Paying attention to nutrition could be why the results you are expecting is not forthcoming. So we are going further today to explain that when you are doing therapy, you need to pay attention morning, noon, and night. Pay attention to what you are feeding your child. Pay attention to what is very paramount, which is the nutrition. Because every therapy session is exhausting because it's making a child to do difficult things. Every therapy session is making a child to do things that are naturally not easy to that child. So you need to feed the brain. You need to feed the brain, which in turn will help that child to thrive, which in turn will help that child function well. Because therapy session, let's imagine, for instance, you are doing speech therapy. You are making the child to focus. You are making the child, to remember instructions. You are making the child to produce sounds. You are making the child to process language. If you are making the child to do all this, the child will need the body to be able to do these difficult things. The child will need the body and the brain to be fully nourished to be able to do these difficult things. If you are doing occupational therapy, for instance, you will need to regulate sensory inputs, coordinate movement, follow direction. Behavioral therapy, you will need to control impulses, manage emotions, learn new skills. As the child is trying to have outbursts, emotional agitations and all that, you will need to keep this child engaged. And all these, they require energy. Not just physical energy, mind you. They require both brain energy. They require physical energy, emotional energy. And the brain, like I shared yesterday, is one of the most nutrient-demanding organs in the human body. The brain is in one of the most nutrient-demanding. Can I see that in the comment section? Please, somebody put that down for me. The brain is one of the most nutrient-demanding organs in the human body. Again, the brain is one of the most nutrient-demanding organs in the human body. So imagine you are learning new language while the child is feeling exhausted, hungry, constipated, sleep deprived, exhausted. How will the child cope? Will he learn efficiently? Will he? Probably not. The child may not learn well. So now imagine trying to teach language, trying to teach communication skills, why these challenges is happening every day. Because some children, I'm having it on day by day, on a daily basis. So nutrition is always vital. Another thing we shared yesterday, that nutrition issue doesn't look like nutrition issues. Most times, parents are waiting for when there is weight loss, when there is, that the child is lying down, is sick. Is waiting for when there is obvious illness. That's when they will know that there's nutrition issue. Meanwhile, red flags could be picky eating. It could be chronic constipation, bloating. It could be that the child is having frequent meltdown. It could be that the child is having poor sleep. The child is having low energy or even hyperactivity. It could be that the child is having slow growth, frequent illness, or poor appetite. So many parents are waiting until that there's an obvious sign that the child is losing weight, the child is looking pale. That is when you know that the child is nutrient deficient. So we talked about all that. So today we are going to be sharing about different aspects of the nutrients that the children need to function well while doing therapy. Like we always know, protein is part of it. Protein. The brain needs fuel. Protein. Because the protein is very important for therapy. A child's brain uses enormous amounts of energy. So the brain needs protein. Protein is the building blocks for neurotransmitters. Protein is the building blocks for neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters helps regulate attention. Neurotransmitter helps regulate mood, because you're teaching this child in therapy to be focused, to have concentration and attention, and you're teaching this child to have behavior that is fit, so you need to prioritize giving your child protein on a daily basis. In every meal, let there be protein. In every meal, let there be protein, because these neurotransmitters help to regulate all these attention, moods, and everything. So without adequate protein, you will see focus may suffer. Without adequate protein, learning may be harder. It will be as if you are doing therapy and the child is not picking. Without adequate protein, you see energy level will fluctuate. Today the child is high, tomorrow is low. Energy level will fluctuate. The child will not always have the best of behavior. Number 2, we're talking about today, is healthy fats. Healthy fat, because the brain is largely composed of fats. Healthy fats. So when you are doing therapy for your child, you pay attention to protein. Now you pay attention to healthy fat. What you are feeding the child, let it have healthy fat, because healthy fat helps to support brain development. It helps to support memory. Healthy fat helps to support memory. It helps to support communication, and it helps to support learning. So as you are doing therapy, focus on healthy fat, focus on protein, focus on these kinds of nutrients when you are doing therapy. Avocado, pear, coconut, very, very crucial. Healthy fats. Healthy fats. It is very vital as you are doing therapy for your child, or you are even the one doing therapy with your child on a daily basis. Pay attention to protein. Pay attention to healthy fats. Number 3, iron. I hope you are following, and if you've not invited anyone, please do so now, and God bless you. So number 3 is iron. Many children on the spectrum, many children with developmental issues are iron deficient. Research shows that many of them are iron deficient. Many of them lacks iron. Many of them need iron. It is so vital. Is an important aspect of the child's nutrients. You do not need to close your eyes to this, because low iron contributes to fatigue. Low iron will contribute to poor communication, because iron helps for speech. Low iron will contribute to reduced attention. Low iron, it's one of the major reasons for fatigue. So many children with restricted diets are at risk of iron. So when you don't give your child a complete meal, a balanced diet, iron will be deficient. So you need to pay attention to food you are giving your child. Ask your child, is there iron in this food? Iron is very, very crucial. Then number 4, zinc. We're trying to tell you the nutrients you should pay attention to. Zinc, that's number 4. Zinc, we know, helps children with developmental issues a lot, because zinc will help to support appetite. Zinc will support growth. Zinc will support immune function, and zinc will help to support brain function. Zinc is very crucial. Pay attention to zinc, and you can get zinc from good food. All Stars is one major zinc dense food. All Stars is one major zinc dense food. Feed your child with it regularly. Very, very crucial. Feed your child with it regularly. Zinc is very crucial. And these are things we teach in the Persistent Parents Tribe. If you are not there, why now? If you've not registered, why now? And now we have a 3-day program, foundational program, coming up next month. Please do well to register. It's just chicken money. The knowledge you'll be getting from this. I went all out for knowledge. Don't think all these things, it just follow come. When I was coming to this world, did I know I was going to give birth to a child with developmental issues? No, it's not something that is planned. Life is not what is drawn by an artist, that you say there's a mistake, you take an eraser, you erase it and start again. No, there is nobody that prepares for this. Life does not prepare you for this. Having a child with special needs is one of them. Nothing prepares you for it. When it comes, you go all out. I went all out for knowledge. I went seeking for right information. I spent time. I spent energy. I spent sweat. I struggled till I got it. And I am still on it. I have not had it all figured out yet. I am still on the journey. It's not a race of perfection yet for us. We are still on the journey. But we are very glad, we are very happy that we've made this progress that we are making. I went all out. I spent money. I spent millions. I'm not so when a course comes and you see that is this, there's nothing you can actually pay to equate someone's knowledge. There's nothing you can actually pay to equate one's value. What you are going to get in these 3 days cannot be compared to what you are paying. You're only paying this token to pay attention. You're only paying this token to just sit and get registered. It's more or less like giveaway. So we're telling you to pay 14,999. At least it's still on for this week, early birds, because the normal fee is 20,000 naira, which we are moving there. So you have to, if you are not paid, you might be the only one missing out. And how would you know that you won't get value if you don't try? Is it not better you try a lot of things and at the end of the day you find out what works for your child? For the fact that you're even going to have access to me, questions, you're going to have your questions answered, you're going to have access to what has worked for several parents. So we teach all this, we go into extensive me plan, what works, triggers, because sometimes there is nothing like bab me as you bab my sister in this race. Methodology differs, despite principles are the same. I always share it here. Principles might be the same, methodology differs. That's why you need an accountability system. That's why you need someone. This is what we teach in the Persistent Parents Tribe. Imagine you are paying 150,000 naira for a whole year. Where do you hear that? 150,000 naira, you don't even pay that for therapy fee for a month. I've been there. I know what I was paying. There were months I paid over 500,000 naira. There are some you don't even pay that for a month for therapy fee. So now you're having it for a full year and you are going to be seeing this person show up daily. So if you have not registered, this is the best time to do that. Send us a DM. Contact the numbers that has been displayed for you to register. Alrighty, that being said, another vitamin that is needed is B vitamin. B vitamin, that is number 5, which is very, very important when it comes to nutrition, which is very important when it comes to helping a child with developmental delays thrive. B vitamin, it helps convert food into usable energy. B vitamins helps you convert food into usable energy. Without enough of this, the brain may struggle to function effectively. Without enough of B vitamin, the brain may struggle to function efficiently and effectively. So, what if your child isn't refusing therapy? Because a lot of persons share with me that their child is having so much struggle with therapy, or they don't just want to learn. What if your child is not just struggling with therapy, or that they don't just want to learn? What if they simply don't have enough energy? What if they simply don't have enough energy reserved to do what is being asked of them, because therapy could be very tasky? What if they simply don't have that enough energy to do it? They don't have that reserve to really function properly when talking about this. Like I always say, one of the aspects when it comes to nutrition, we have talked about it, is gut-brain connection. Because this is one of the most overlooked factors when it comes to health. It's one of the most overlooked factors when it comes to health, because parents often separate the stomach from the brain. But science increasingly shows that they communicate constantly. Science increasingly shows that they communicate constantly, and that's why this is called the gut-brain connection. It's called the gut-brain connection. When gut problem exists, a child may experience discomfort, a child may experience bloating, a child may experience constipation, a child may experience gas, and a child may experience pain. So when a child is refusing therapy, when a child is not really flowing well with therapy, is not getting much from it, it could be that the child is having pain, constipation, discomfort, bloating. So imagine sitting through a therapy session while your stomach hurts. Would you be focused if it's you? Imagine you sitting in a therapy session while your stomach hurts. Will you be cooperative and will you learn efficiently? Probably not. Probably not. So constipation example, many children with special needs experience constipation, yet parents do not realize how much it affects them. They don't realize how much it affects mood. They don't realize how much it affects behavior. They don't realize how much it affects sleep. They don't realize how much it affects attention. Sometimes addressing constipation improves daily functioning. Sometimes addressing constipation improves daily functioning. And it happens at times dramatically. And you'll be wondering, why is this child not learning? Only for you to just address constipation issues, you find out that the child is behaving well. Then we're going to talk about an aspect again, blood sugar and learning. Blood sugar and learning. We're talking about why therapy stalls. Could nutrition be the missing link? So we're saying blood sugar and learning because many children eat mostly crackers, biscuits, French fries, juices, sugar snacks, chicken nuggets. They're just eating, what they eat is processed foods. Most times what they eat is processed food, and this food provides just quick energy. This food provides quick energy, but they also create energy crashes. This food provides quick energy, but they also provide energy crashes. So you need to realize that a child may focus briefly, become irritable, lose attention, struggle with regulation. Learning requires steady fuel. It requires steady fuel. So the brain performs best with stable energy. So you need to pay attention to these sugary foods. Imagine trying to complete an exam while someone keeps turning on electricity. Your electricity is being turned on and off, and you're trying to complete. So won't it be distracting? Won't you be also unstable? That is what unstable energy feel like to the brain. Turning off electricity and turning off. Turning on electricity and turning off. Turning on electricity and turning off. That's how the brain sees it. So you need to pay attention. Then again, we have talked about sleep. Sleep is another hidden nutrient connection. Sleep. It can never be spoken enough. It can never be overemphasized. You say sleep. Many parents don't realize that nutrition and sleep are connected. They don't know. Poor nutrition may contribute to difficulty falling asleep. It may result to frequent waking and restless sleep. Restless sleep, the child is just turning, just not having deep sleep. So, and this poor sleep affects learning. It affects memory, it affects attention, and it affects regulation. So a child who is exhausted will often struggle more in therapy. A child who is exhausted will often struggle more in therapy. This is what you should realize. So you need to realize why sometimes progress plateau. Why sometimes progress looks like it's a plateau. Parents often say, my child was improving, then everything stopped. I've heard that severally. My child was improving, then everything stopped. Or sometimes it happens because nutritional needs change. That could be the reason why the progress was stalled. That is why there was regression. It could also be that growth increased nutritional demands is what is causing that. So you need to pay attention to what your child is doing. So eating becomes more restricted, sleep worsened, gut problems developed. Therapy didn't stop working. The child's body may simply need additional support. It's not that therapy stopped working. Therapy did not stop working. Probably the body needs additional support. Think of therapy as driving a car. Therapy is the driver. Nutrition is the fuel. Therapy is the driver. Nutrition is the fuel. Even the best driver cannot move a car with an empty tank. Can that drive, even because the driver has been driving for 70 years, it will just sit and move a car without the car being fueled? No. Likewise, excellent therapy may not achieve its full potential if the body lacks what it needs. You need to know this today. The best of therapists may not be able to do their best if nutritional gaps are there. If there is need for the brain to have fully nourished vitamins, minerals, and is not getting it, even the best therapists cannot do their work. Progress will be stalling. You'll be seeing plateau. You'll be seeing the child is regressing. It will be as if it's going up and down. It's going on and off. So you need to be cautious when it comes to nutrition. It will help the therapy to have better results. It will help that therapy session that the child is having feel more meaningful. Now, ask yourself, does my child eat fewer than 20 foods? Because I've actually seen the parents say, all this child eats is jollof rice. Morning, noon, and night. If you are giving any food that's not jollof rice, then the child is not eating. So with that, how can the child get the nutrients he or she needs to be effective and to be efficient and to be cooperative when it comes to therapy sessions? How can that child cooperate? How can that child focus? Even with the combined excess of it feeding candida and yeast. Because excess of it is also feeding candida and yeast. It might be that it's certainly well with them. It doesn't cause constipation. But we just see when they have eaten too much of that rice, they are laughing, having drunken laughter, they are laughing unnecessarily without any provocation. They are jumping energy surges. You just see that this child is everywhere. I know that rice could be an addictive food. They will eat it till they get used to it. Until they go for 4 times, they are not done. So you need to pay attention. So if a child is eating just one type of food, how will they get the nutrients needed? And how will they make progress even with therapy? So you need to ask yourself these questions, because as we're talking about why therapy stalls, nutrition could be the missing link. You need to ask yourself these questions. Could it be that my child is having less than 20 foods? He's not having different kinds of vegetables. He's not having different kinds of fruits, because every fruit have its own benefits. You have different classes. You need to come to the inner circle if you are not there. You need to come to the Pacesetter Parents Tribe. You will learn all this. We explain all this. Even fruits that are very good when it comes to protein. Because when you get it, some people feel until they are getting, what's it called? Until they are getting meat. That's when they are getting protein. So if that child is not accepting protein, what can you give? There are fruits that are high in protein. There are other sources of protein. Crayfish is one of them, very high in protein. So it's not you give the child beef until you give the child chicken, especially for a picky eater that is not accepting that. That is why you need to register for the Pacesetter Parents Tribe, so you get all that you need. We have a long list of it, we have class of it, researched, proven, and practiced. It has been practiced and it has been proven, and parents are already having their child transformed. So you need to ask yourself also, is my child having poor sleep? Because If this is taken out, the child can't function when in therapy. There is no magic you will do. If the child is not sleeping well, you want the child to sit and focus on a therapy session for 2 hours, 3 hours, even 4 hours, as some people are doing, 6 hours. How can that be? So ask yourself, is this child having good sleep? Is this child having constipation? Parents, ask yourself these questions. Is constipation common? Does my child have frequent skipping of meals? Is the child always skipping meals? You see the child is not eating because what you are giving is not what he or she wants. Is my child always feeling tired? Does my child get sick often? You need to ask yourself these questions. So if you ask yourself these questions, it will help you to know what actually the issue is. Has therapy's progress slowed unexpectedly? So you need to ask yourself these questions. Has therapy progress slowed unexpectedly? If you answered yes to several of these questions, nutrition deserves closer attention, dear parents. Nutrition deserves closer attention. Because it's not just about doing therapy. It's not just about saying that my child is doing therapy sessions several times a day or several times a week. No. Now, what can you do, dear parents? What is your call to action? What can you do? Number one, start simple. Because most times we overcomplicate things. We feel it's until we start it very big. Don't give yourself ambiguous targets that you cannot meet. Start simple. This is very crucial. Start simple. Observe. Observe. It's very, very important for you to observe what you are doing. Don't just, if you go to some social media accounts or you come online at times, you just see clash of information. One will say, give this. Another one will say, no, this one is, you get confused. That is why you need to register for the Digital Parents Trap if you have not done that. So that you get a system you are committed. See, accountability is very important. So if you want to go far, go with people. If you want to go far, the pace at which you will move, it will even be, because you won't really feel it like you are doing something. Because you are doing it with others. You're not doing it alone. You're not trying to figure it out all by yourself. Even as I'm here, I'm not trying to figure it out all by myself. I didn't just try to figure it out all by myself. Be in a community of people. Get accountable. God has not created us to function alone. Let us is a part of the scripture that doesn't live by mind. Let us make man. There is this us. Most times, he said one will chase 1,000. Two will put 10,000 to flight. If it's a normal multiplication, it's supposed to be one will chase 1,000, two will chase 2,000. But there is power of community. That's why those that wanted to build the Tower of Babel, they wanted to build the tower that will reach the heavens. And they were also close to achieving their goals if God did not scatter their language. There are some things you can never do by yourself. You will do it. Some people have seen people, they said before they joined us, they were just walking in circles. They try to do this before they know, this one is no longer good. Though. They get confused. Somebody can tell you that rice is the only food accepted by autistic children. It's the food you should give them. Another person will come and say rice is not good at all. It will increase their symptoms. One person will tell you that beans is good. It's protein. Another person will tell you that it's fermenting their guts. It causes constipation. It causes gas. And you know, some children react to it. So you hear information, you hear another contrary information. What do? No, you need to get to a committed system where you can need it. So observe. Start small. Another thing is track patterns. Track patterns. Track patterns. Find out when I gave this meal, what happened next. Track patterns. Have a journal where you are able to jot down things and realize where issues actually started. If you don't do this, you might not really know what the issue is. Then notice. Notice food intake, notice sleep quality, notice bowel movements. Anything you are doing without paying attention to bowel movements, you are wrong. You must pay attention to bowel movements. Because if a child is just taking in and is not bringing it, it's a challenge. You are meant to put it and go through the process and it goes out. So if the child is just putting in constant bowel movement, at least once or twice daily. No day should pass without any child emptying their bowels. No day should pass, please. Ensure that your child is constantly pooping. Very important. Even as an adult, if you are constipated, how do you function well? Me, I cannot. I cannot function well with constipation. How will you even sleep? Your sleep will not be sound. So pay attention to constant bowel movement at least twice a day. That child should go, before going to school in the morning, before night, that child should use the toilet. You will see that a child that is having constant bowel movement will hardly have that mood issues. We hardly have aggression issues. We hardly have those constant meltdown. Constipation is at the root of many of them. Those constant meltdown, constipation could be at the root of it. So pay attention to bowel movement, mood, attention. Then pay attention to therapy participation. How is your child participating during therapy sessions? Often, patterns becomes visible when written down. That's why I said always jot your journal. Always put it down. Have a journal where you track, this is what I did today. So you're able to remember easily what happened. So pay attention to therapy participation. So right now, we've spent already 40-something minutes. So I want to leave you with this thought. When therapy progress slows, don't immediately assume your child isn't trying. Don't say, but I saw one child who was doing therapy for 4 months. Before you know it, the child just started speaking. The child just started doing this. Don't always compare your child. Don't always assume that the child is not trying. So when therapy progress slows, don't immediately assume that your child isn't trying. Dear parents, when therapy progress slows, don't assume, thank you right there, don't assume that the child isn't trying. The child may be trying his best. So don't assume that therapy isn't working either. Instead, ask a different question. Does my child's brain and body have everything they need to learn, grow, and respond? Because children do not learn with their brains alone. They learn with their whole bodies. And sometimes the next breakthrough isn't found in a new therapy technique. The next breakthrough isn't found in another new supplement in the market. The next breakthrough sometimes is not even found by supporting the therapy session with more therapy session. No. Sometimes it's found by supporting the foundation on which all learning depends. Sometimes it's supporting the foundation on which all learning depends. So if today's teaching resonated with you, comment access and we'll reply you. Comment access. Tell me your child's age, the diagnosis, if any. Tell me their biggest feeding or nutritional challenge. And I will share with you what next you need to do. Send us a DM. I would investigate and help you understand the next step to take. Send us access. We'll respond to you. So if any of this resonates with you, you can put it in the comments. Access will respond to you. We'll tell you what next to do. We'll investigate properly and tell you how to go about it. But meanwhile, you need to always be here on a daily basis because we are here steadily to give you good nutritional transformational topics that will help your child thrive on this journey. You see this month, don't joke with it. You see this month, don't even play with it. And if you know others that have not been participating, please invite them. It's very crucial. If all you have learned in these 3 weeks, you have even paid attention. One thing is just gathering information, another thing is implementation. Please, parents, I want us to implement. If you're able to implement 20% of all you have learned here, your child will make progress. If you're able to learn, we are able to apply it. Not just learn and just write. Some people will say, I'll be writing my notes for, I always catch replay. Some people say, I'm always live. It's not about just hoarding knowledge. There is something called knowledge overdose. And we live in a knowledge era. Knowledge is everywhere in this day and age. Knowledge is not scarce in this day and age. But what is scarce is implementation. I mean, there are so many things. There's nothing new under the sun. How many times when we're talking about seeing all these things, how many people are really seeing the result? Is it that they don't know what to do? Most of the time, they know what to do. Why some are ignorant and don't know what to do? But after hearing it, do they do it? Do they do it? So implementation matters very, very much. So pay attention. Start by taking this one step and another. Like I said, don't get yourself overwhelmed. Take steps, you will see this result. Call us to register for the PCSR Parents Tribe. It will help you and your child so that you save yourself of being 80 and you are having a 40-something years old person, or you are having a 50-something years old person not well and sound. So that is why we need to pay attention. They say make hay while the sun sets, while the sun shines. As the sun is shining now, pay attention to what you need to be doing. It is very important, dear parents. So we'll be calling this a day. Tomorrow we'll see again. We'll be sharing another important topic with you. And you need to send the link to others, those that need to catch a replay. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you get notified. Turn on your notifications so that you get notified when we are live and when we post anything. So see you, and God bless you.